bum 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 ba-do, ba-do. Welcome, everybody. Nice to see you. My name's Dean. Today is the day to help others. I got my Help Others mug. Okay? It's not something I like to tell people, but I sometimes don't mind helping others. And sometimes I'll even help others, rarely even talking about it. Because when you help others, Lachlan Cross from 957 Cruise FM in Edmonton, at Lachlan Cross on Twitter, when you help others, it shouldn't be something that you talk about. You shouldn't just run out and go, look at me, I'm helping others. You shouldn't be like an other helper talking about all the help you give people. You should just go out and help people. So that's my little soliloquy to start the program today.
I don't know about that. Then how are you going to get credit for it and boost your own ego?
So it's also a great question. Ego is the enemy, I've heard. But that is a good point. If you take a lot of pride out of looking like a hero, maybe you should help others and tell lots of people about it.
I know many, many, many people in this business that make sure that they go out of their way to tell everybody just how fucking great they are so that they can get that ego boost.
Isn't that not me? True? But I know. It's amazing.
Do I do
that? Not really. I don't think you do.
No.
You're not that guy. No. I don't think you are.
If I pulled over on the side of the road, I'm also fairly selfish in regards. Like,
yeah,
we saw somebody this morning, 4:00 in the morning. We were a little bit earlier at work this morning, because we didn't get anything done for the show. No prep for the show. So Jimmy and he slept over here last night because we had an event, and we got up and we blasted out of here. We were literally on the road at 4:00 in the morning, and right outside of the McDonald's that we were going to stop and grab somebody was trying to wave us over. Looked like they were in minor distress.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, fuck, it's 4:00 in the morning. No, I can't do it. And we just kept going. And honestly, I swear to God, I felt a little guilty about it. But what am I going to do? And what does this guy want? Like, what is he doing at 4:00 in the morning?
Well, who knows? Maybe he ran out of gas. Maybe he just needs you to call like CAA. Maybe his phone was out of juice. He ran out of gas, had a tough night, got into the bottle a little bit, and then he's driving to work, and he's like, fuck, I got no gas. Just need you to call 911. Maybe he was just pulled over at the side of the road because he had to go to the bathroom, and he needed toilet paper, and he thought a passerby might have a roll. I don't know. This
individual did not own a vehicle. We'll leave it at that. And that's, I don't want to get judgy. But again, like I said, I drove by him and Jimmy goes, that guy's waving at us. And I'm like, I'm not pulling over. And he goes, yeah, don't do that. And then for a moment, like for a brief second, I was like, should I be the guy that just stops and goes, hey, listen, you're not getting in my car, but like, are you okay? And I'm just not. Fuck.
It's a great
question.
Should I
be that guy?
See, not a lot of people are, because a lot of people look at that and go, I'm going to be incredibly inconvenienced. I might be late for work. I don't know what kind of can of worms I'm going to open up if I stop here.
He probably shit his pants. Like, I mean, there's a whole bunch of shit going on. Like, I mean, it looked like he had shit his pants.
Yeah. Well,
I don't want that in my car.
You've done that too. In fact, you did that last week. So
I did.
Let's not call stones, especially when stones are shitting their pants. And it's
but when I shit my pants, I went home.
Yeah.
And I cleaned up and I had a shower. I didn't wave somebody down for help. And it wasn't 4:00 in the morning.
Maybe you thought you had
outside of fucking McDonald's.
Well, we could ask our next guest. Lots going on today, by the way. We've got a full Alberta show around 4 o'clock. We're going to go to Alberta with more Alberta guests. We're going full Berta today. We're going full Berta. So that'll be fun. We're going to talk a little bit about VLTs and going back in time. Apparently, that's what happens when you go to Alberta, but we're going to get to that in a couple minutes. But let's ask this question of our next guest. Now, it's been...
Have you ever shit your pants?
He's shaking his head in the green room. Let's just bring him in. Ladies and gentlemen, legendary broadcaster, sportscaster, Mr. Casey Stern. Ladies and gentlemen, Casey Stern. Have you ever shit your pants, Casey? Let's start there.
You know, I actually, my brother, I remember, he told me about a story where he once had diarrhea in his Porsche in traffic on the 405. And I think after hearing that, is it like younger, he's about 9 years older than me, about 20 years ago, I was always careful. Like, I don't care how late I am, I'm always going to use the bathroom before I drive. Something my kids don't really understand. But I will say, I did once fart on a kid doing sit-ups during one of those, like, those things in like elementary school where they see how many pull-ups and sit-ups you can do. And if that kid's listening from 5th grade and I tormented you forever, I really do apologize. My packed lunches were really just off. Like, my parents didn't understand tuna will soak through bread. It doesn't come through well. And we had gym class right afterwards, so I just wanted to let this apology out. And I feel like already we're sharing emotions, and this is a special time for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Casey Stern is our guest. At Casey Stern on Twitter is where you can find him. We've all got that thing from Participation in Canada. They called it Participation, where you go into the gym and you do all the feats of strength. You know, it's like how fast can you run around the block?
I'm 64% of a person normal height, like whatever else is. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, exactly. And I did the same thing, but I sharted when I was going up the rope, and because I couldn't get down.
Who was holding the rope?
Well, my buddy Colin was down below, and he looked on the ground and he looked up and he saw bombs away, and he's like, "Hey, dude, I'm gonna let go of the rope." And I'm like in the 7th grade or something like that. And my mom made like beetroot sandwiches for dinner the night before. Same thing. I come from like a weird cultural background where mom's like, "Just eat it, it's good." And I'm like, "Fuck, I can't take this." Anyway, it was a bad experience, and that was the only time I've ever done that in public. That's just
why. By the way, you didn't say former buddy Colin, so if Colin's watching or listening, that's a real
they
friend.
worked it through.
Like, how do you know it's real? That's how you know it's real.
That's how you know your buddies. Yeah. What about helping people? We started off because we were talking about helping others. Is on my mug, right? I'm a big help.
Yes,
help
I like that.
fan.
I like that.
And
I like how the help is big, and then in small part it says others. So if somebody looks quick, it looks like it's an SOS.
Help.
Help.
Others. Yeah, where are you at? Like, let's say, because Locke's dilemma this morning, Casey, you're a broadcaster. You've been, under the gun. By the way, Casey Stern, one of my favorite broadcasters, one of my favorite interviews, and we'll get to a little bit of our history, but let's just finish off with this little racket that we got going here. Someone's calling for you for help. You're on your way to a gig. You got to get there at a certain time. Do you stop and help that person? Are you at that stage of your life?
Who's the someone?
Well, I don't know. Locke, tell Casey what the guy looked like. Give him the rundown, and we'll see if Casey would have stopped to help. He might be a better person than you.
I want to plead the fifth here, just based purely on the fact that I already have, I'm doing my best not to be gentle, but clearly, okay, here's the guy looked like he may have been down on his luck. There's a good chance that he's not sleeping with a roof over his head.
He's an urban camper,
or at least,
if you will.
Yes, he's an urban camper of sorts, right? And he looked like he might have been in some level of distress. And I did not stop when he was waving at me to pull over.
Yeah. You do that?
Were you the only car on the road? Is it like the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, it's 4:00 in the morning. I'm on my way to the morning show.
Okay. Yeah, 4:00 in the morning. So, I mean, look, there's a danger aspect to that, right? Like, it could be a ploy. You never know what's going. So, I probably would not have stopped. Wherever I'm driving at 4 in the morning, I'm either up way too ass early and I don't want to be wherever I'm going, and I need coffee desperately, or doing like the drive of shame from somewhere or something, and I'm already trying to forget what's happened in the night. I don't need to add like another nightmare. So probably not. And I'm a pretty helpful person and empathetic, but in that situation, probably not. Now, middle of the day, and it looks like there's nobody around, and it looked like somebody who was safe and they're in some trouble. The other part is like, do I know anything that could help you? Like I'm a sports guy, and I'm really good with electronics. I'm not the guy who's like, oh, well, right now it looks like your carburetor has an issue over. No, it's not like, I'm not that guy per se. So I might not be helpful at all. I'll probably stall you from whatever actually could help you.
Getting real help. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the guy at the bottom of the rope who got shit on and stayed your friend. That guy could help you.
Colin. Yeah. Yes. Colin Weeb was his name. I'll never forget it. Colin Weeb. He's like, hey, dude, I think you shit yourself. I'm like, I'm not.
That guy could help you for sure.
Yeah. I'm like you, though. And the older I get, the more I'm like, when you see other people that are in need, specifically you don't know them. Like if it's family, it's different. You're always there. You're always going to try and show up. You're always going to try and make a difference, or at least a little bit, depending on the family member, right? And how extended and what were they like when you were a kid.
I was looking for some clarification there.
Yeah. But when it comes to like people you don't know, it's very different. Like, and you bring up a good point. But when I was younger, I would have like that hero complex would have kicked in. Like you would have been, no, you can make a difference here. You can save a life. And then you can get to work and tell everybody
that is the other part, Dean. Here's the other part nobody wants to say. Like I'm big on let's see the first plug of the pod for the day. The reason why I have a podcast called Unfiltered is I believe like most of us live in this life where like we filter everything we think before we say it based on wow. I mean, geez. I want to like walk around in a world where I just like on the street and I just say Unfiltered up in like Starbucks and boom, there it comes like a hologram. But I am a big believer that like we all care about like more society than what we actually feel. And like I consider myself to be truly like a very empathetic and a very good person. Mm-hmm. But I'm also an honest person. Whether it's same sex, opposite sex, whatever, all that stuff aside, whoever you're attracted to, right? If it's an animal, that's your thing, that's fine. And a dog needed help on a highway, maybe it would be that in your case. But not you, but I'm just saying. Like, if somebody attractive that you were attracted to was in that situation, you are way more likely to stop. And anybody who admits or says otherwise is a liar.
100%. 100%. These are things that nobody else is going to talk about. I'm glad you talked about it. Your podcast is called Unfiltered. I'm glad you brought some actual truth to it. If you haven't downloaded Casey's podcast, it is absolutely tremendous. Part of the BLEAV network, Unfiltered with Casey Stern. You've got a couple episodes here. Your episode with Rudy Gay was actually incredible.
Thank you.
This is what you do. This is who you are. You're doing Unfiltered with Casey Stern, Major League Baseball broadcaster, unfiltered thoughts in the world of sports. But it's not just that. You also get into the human side of things. When was the last time we talked professionally? It's got to be about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Am I right?
Well, it's been a while since like it used to bug me to like try and remind myself like I don't want to upset an entire country of baseball fans by saying bad things about their team. Yeah. They still do bother me, and I always like because I guess are there two competing networks? Because I love when like they'll bother me on the same day, and I'm thinking if one of you like would give me like an offer, I might badmouth the other one in the next hit that I'm on. But I. No, probably. It's probably been about 3-4 years.
Yeah, 3-4 years. And I remember you would do. So there's in Toronto. So Casey Stern, and nobody knows him. He's again one of my favorite broadcasters. He's done basically every major sport, the finals for every major sport. He's done March Madness. He's done the Major League Baseball playoffs. You've done an NBA finals. You are one of those guys that started in broadcasting in a weird time too. It was like because you're very bright. You decided to get out of school, and you're like, "Fuck, I guess it's Wall Street for me. I'm pretty good at sales. I like to talk." But how did you go from like Wall Street at 22 to being really a wonder kid? Like you really were and still are. I mean, obviously you look a lot younger than most of us your age. However, I will say this.
I was just saying I'm in my mid 40s. Let's not pretend that like,
Yeah, but you don't look like you look like $1 million bucks.
I'm wearing a hat.
But you had a weird like journey from like most of us either went to school for this, grew up wanting to do this, but you were like, fuck it. You know what? I think I want to try sports. And then, about 10, 15 years later, you're at the top of your game. You're doing finals in almost every major professional sport, right? Like what was that journey for you like, Casey? Because you've got an interesting one. It's almost like you were like, on a whim, I'll give this a try because I'd rather do this than the shit that I'm doing at all.
Well, I mean, that was clearly being on the train at 5 o'clock in the morning. Forget pulling on the side of the road at 4 a.m. You want to really get pissed off at yourself. Be on the train at 5 a.m. going to Manhattan every day with people who look like they want to kill themselves. Yeah. And they're just going to work on Monday. Yeah. I'd gone to school for this and I always wanted to do it my whole life. And when I was 5, I remember they asked, what do you want to be for a living? And everybody else was like an astronaut or something cool. And I raised my hand and said I want to be Bob Murphy, who was the voice of the Mets. And I remember that like literally, people in Long Island didn't even know at that age, like, who the hell is Bob Murphy? Like, they knew what Cabbage Patch Kids were. They know it, So I always wanted to do it, went to school for it. I ended up, my family needed some help at the time, so I got out of school and went to work. And
at 5?
Sales, and then, no, not at 5. After I was skipping to college. If you want to make this like a week-long podcast, we could be here forever. See, when I was 12,
Well, I will say this: while
Yeah.
we're sitting here talking, it did sound like you decided at 5 to get into the workforce at Wall Street, like the youngest Wall Street guy ever.
Yeah, no, luckily, can you guys still hear me okay? Yes?
Yeah.
Yep, yeah, okay. Luckily, I had gotten out of, basically the idea that I was going to do this for a living, at least temporarily, because I had to go to work to make money. And when you start doing this business, you can't, right? So I had, after college, gone back to Long Island and moved back there, and eventually went to LA and tried to, find myself. I was working at brokerage firms. I was basically a sales guy, using all the things I used in, now, but from a public speaking standpoint, doing marketing and things for large companies. And a true story, I was paying radio stations for airtime. I knew I wanted to get back into it. I was about 23, 24 years old. And I had just moved back to New York because I wanted to chase this dream. And I had only been back for maybe even a couple of months. And my best friend, Mike Collin, at the bottom of the rope, my friend Rob, his mother called me. I thought something was wrong with him. Like my friend's mother was calling me. But she said, I had to call you right away. I just heard on the radio station that tomorrow on ESPN Zone, at 7 in the morning, they're having auditions for this ESPN show called Dream Job that I had never heard of, and nobody had at that point. It wasn't out yet, and they hadn't even done commercials, and there were people trying out to be a sportscaster on SportsCenter, right? And I was like, okay, there's no way I'm going to go. That night, I went to the Monday Night Football game. The Giants played the Cowboys, and I was in a Dave Meggett jersey. This is before all the rape and otherwise issues where it was still okay to wear that. I was the guy at the stall in Giant Stadium who was like, "Whoa, dude, cool, Dave Meggett." Now, if I wore it, they'd be like pedophile, and so I wouldn't wear the jersey anymore. Clearly, at least not in front of you. But I was at the game, and apparently, unbeknownst to me, and this is a true story, my friends had decided, my friend whose mother had called me and my other buddy who I was with had found out about this, and they decided that they were just going to basically drop me off online. So after the game, which the Giants lost, and I was pissed off, and I wasn't intoxicated still, but I was probably already almost hungover by the time that you get out of that parking lot there. They're driving back, instead of going to Long Island, they're going through Manhattan, and they dropped me off online, and told me, here, we're just leaving you here. It was 5 in the morning, 2 hours before. There was no one there. I was the 6th person in line, and months later I ended up coming in 4th on the show and got an agent and worked at Major League Baseball at MLB.com. I had a job a month later. My first job in 2004 that I did in this business, I was covering the Red Sox every day. If you go to their DVD for their trophy for the World Series, I'm the person who is, and I could turn my, see, by the way, you want to talk about being good in this business. I saw a message from your audio guy, can we turn Casey down? So I just did it myself. Thank you, buddy. That's multitasking, people. So I ended up getting in a situation where I was covering the Red Sox every day, and if you go watch their DVD for the World Series, I'm the one that's interviewing David Ortiz the first time he held the trophy in the champagne celebration after they won. So all of that happened in a span of 8 months. So pretty crazy, and I have now turned back since.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a crazy journey. It's it's funny because I only know your story because I know you, and I've heard you tell the story in a couple of different podcasts and a couple of interviews. It was because it sounded like you went in, hung over to the tits, and just decided to give it a go. And literally less than a year later, you're covering a World Series for a Major League Baseball team at 23, 24 years old, right? It's one of those stories where you're like, oh my God, that guy was just meant to do that. Very few people are meant to do this job. And there's so many people out there that are like, my God, I would just love to do that. Like everybody's an armchair, sportscaster, right? Everybody thinks they can do it. Everybody says, oh, that guy sucks. This person, so everybody's got their favorites and people that they hate and can't stand watching, calling games. But you've always been good at this, but was it you didn't know you were good at it? You didn't have confidence to do it? What was it that changed for you? Was it just an opportunity? Was it a shot? Were you just honestly, right place, right time?
Honestly, it was just I had it had been necessitated for me to get out of this industry to make money. To help my family at the time. So I didn't have the choice or the luxury of fighting in this business, and I was always willing to go and grab coffee for anybody, whatever I needed to do. It just it never came to me, and And then I had this, and who knows what would have happened if this break didn't happen. And I'm very lucky and blessed that it did. But, then all of a sudden I'm in a situation where I'm shoot, it happened fast. I mean, next thing I knew, I was, getting, my first TV gig that I had was I worked at MSG doing pre and post for the Knicks and Rangers in 2006 and 2007. At that time, I was covering the Mets down the stretch, and then all of a sudden, just one thing led to another, and then I started my show and did Afternoon Drive on Sirius XM for 13 seasons for baseball. For people listening to that, and started with Turner in 2014. Did the 7 years of the postseason for baseball, 4 NBA finals, and 3 NCAA tournaments for them.
With respect to the fact that you've done a bunch of different sports, do you have one that you like more than another?
I'm actually, ironically, I mean, Dean knows it. Hockey's my favorite sport. So,
nice.
it's literally, it's been, I'm not saying that just now for this. Not just I love Canada. No. But no, it is, the Islanders are my favorite team.
Yeah.
And have been my favorite team since I'm little. Hockey is my favorite sport. Baseball would be second, like right behind it. And then ironically, basketball was always the one that I played the best. I still play often. I play like 3 times a week. I'm behind Tim Kirchin in the short guys who can really shoot quotient of broadcasters because I don't think he's missed in like 15 years. That dude can really play. People are like, Tim Kirchin? Yeah. Like, really?
Really? He can play, huh?
Oh, yeah. Like, really play. Really play.
Wow.
Yeah. The dude in the league who could really play, people should know. AJ Preller, the GM of the Padres, like, no joke. Like, that dude could go school some D1 kids right now. Like, he could really play basketball. Like, yeah.
There's a lot of closet athletes.
Yeah, very few broadcasters are good athletes. You happen to be one of those guys. Like, you happen to be one of those guys
that can play. I'm just not tall,
right?
unfortunately.
Right.
I'm not one of those guys either.
Yeah, my co-host Grant, I've told you that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. He could have played football. I swear to God. Honestly, I've tried to talk him into actually going for tryouts for the Elks, like CFL. I'm like, you could make it. The guy runs a 40 and 5. Like, it's fucking insane, and he's a big dude.
Yeah.
He's got weight on.
Crazy.
And
running that fast is like that is the thing I always had going for me being short was it was always me and like 11 girls in the first like shortest group like for all the class pictures. So it made it easier for me. It was like a nice icebreaker.
Yeah.
Hey,
who's your
here we are.
favorite Islander?
We're sitting with our, we're sitting. What else are we gonna do? Let's, shoot the shit. It was easier that way.
Casey, favorite Islander of all time?
Pat LaFontaine.
Not John Tavares?
Right.
No. No,
Well,
I don't hate John Tavares, by the way, which is, I don't.
That's not true. I remember when Johnny T came to Toronto, I was doing sports radio. You and I had a chat about it literally in an interview, and you were like, not a good scene. Not good.
It was not a good scene because of the blankie and all that bullshit, but I don't hate the guy. To me, you can't, like, profess your love as, like, with the franchise to the level that he did, and then, like, I'm okay if, like, in baseball, right, Albert Pujols doesn't go back to the Cardinals, and then he gets offered $50 million more to go somewhere else. It's like I'll go anywhere else. Like I'll go scrape the blood off the ice after a fight for $50 million. Are you kidding me? Like, please let me know what I can do in North Dakota. Like, I don't care, right? I don't give a shit. But for John Tavares, the difference in the money wasn't that. It was just like he didn't want as much as he said he wanted. That's what kind of pissed me off. But I don't hate the guy. And to be honest with you, if anything, it should be sad for him that they actually were better once he left. I mean, that's the saddest part.
Yeah. Well, and dude, he's taking a beating now. Like it's we're at the back half of that deal. It's getting incrementally more expensive to keep a guy here. He's the second line center for this team, right? He sees some power play stuff, but like the argument before when he was here was like we could never bring anybody to town. And when he wanted to come back, and he had his little, you remember his little jammies, and he had his like,
I remember,
is in bed. Oh yeah. But it's funny because like 4 or 5 years later. Every time that he goes to Nassau, every time he goes to play the Islanders, you guys are so butthurt about it. Or not you, but the entire crowd. And it's like, fuck, when are you going to get over it? Like, obviously you were better when he left.
Never.
Obviously you saved money. Are you going to get over it? Will that
Have
fan
you met
base
people
ever
from
get
Long
over
Island?
it?
Have you met people from Long Island? We don't get over anything.
Just you.
I mean, honestly, we don't get over any. Although I will say, I mean, comparatively to like the John Tavares thing, hating the idea. Hey, we have Barry Trotz. He's like one of the greatest coaches of all time. He clearly turned everything around. But what would be a great idea, Lou? Let's fire him. Oh, Well, of course. I mean, Lou Lamoriello is more out of touch than a groupie at a Poison concert if the concert was tonight. Like, not in 1987. Like, that same chick was there now. That's how out of touch Lou Lamoriello is.
You got to get Casey on that Sabres podcast.
Yeah,
with those guys.
Love it. Yeah, you would. You'd love it. There's a Sabres podcast.
I mean, what a Lou Lamoriello. My goodness. I remember watching Ralph Kiner when he used to do Met games, and eventually, God bless Ralph, he used to say, like, the Mets 4 and the Mets 2, and you just knew there was a problem. Like, that's basically Lou Lamoriello. He's not stealth. He's not letting us know what he's thinking. He's not thinking anything. He's napping. Yeah. Like, somebody wake the hell up.
Mets look good this year.
Yeah, do they?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yeah.
They really do. And, it's fascinating because, like, I know you're a big New York guy. Obviously, the Yankees, first place overall in the American League, they're going to run away with it, even though they had a back half of the season. The Mets are on fire. It's nice. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, fuck, okay, great. It's New York. You get all the nice stuff. But it's nice to see both New York teams on heaters. It's nice to see both teams on a collision course with what could be a World Series. While I'm watching that, I'm watching the Toronto Blue Jays like literally stumble like a drunk uncle down the stretch. When you watch or you surmise, Casey Stern is our guest at Casey Stern from the BLEAV Network. He's got a podcast called Unfiltered, by the way. Go and hit subscribe. You can get it pretty much anywhere.
This is like, I need this in my life. Every time like the word is mentioned, it's like boom. And we need it because there's like 19 other podcasts named Unfiltered. So I don't know if I told you this, but anybody who sees me on my Twitter, and please go follow me at Casey Stern. That's how I get fed. Like if you go, I will put it Unfiltered in caps at nauseum because there's 19 other shows called Unfiltered, and I'm basically saying like, fuck you, like this is the best Unfiltered there is, so it'll be in caps.
Good, I apprate that. And it's a little bit in cursive as well, which is nice. It adds that classy touch.
Make that, but that's true.
It still looks nice.
Yeah.
But what's wrong with the Blue Jays? Because prior to the trade deadline, House on Fire owned a wild card spot. They're at the back half of the wild card. I think they're third. I think they're like a game and a half up on the Orioles, which is a great story. I like that story. I like this kid that's playing short. He just hit his first home run the other day. Adley Rutschman's a nice little story too. But the American League is the strongest league in Major League Baseball. It's the strongest side in Major League Baseball. And I watched everybody in the American League. Absolutely hit homers at the trade deadline, and then I watched Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkin get Zach Pop, Anthony Bass, and Whit Merrifield, who's just, I call him rally killer Whit. But explain to me what happened at the trade deadline. Did the Jays, was that their plan, or did they strike out? What happened?
No, I think they screwed up. Here's the problem with this team. I go back 2 years, and I've been saying this now for a while. And it's not Ross, the ownership. The owners always hide behind the GMs. That's how it always is. I mean, honestly, it's always that way. If teams don't go, I can go all the way back to the year where that Jose Bautista, and he wasn't the only one, but complained that they didn't make any moves. They were 2 games behind the Orioles, and they lost by 15 games. And then the next year, obviously, they trade 10 guys and get in the playoffs. That's the ownership that's not willing to go push the pedal. When this ownership has Ross and company going out there 2 years ago, basically, and I'm talking about pre-Semien signing and all that, and saying, hey, look, we're gonna win. Like, we're here. Like, they snuck in the 60-game season right in the playoffs. Like, now we're ready. We're ready to play with the big boys. Well, now you've got to follow through with that. And being disappointed, even though you're in a postseason spot, and firing your manager, even though you're in a postseason spot, though earlier in the year, that at least qualifies as being right in line with, okay, right, we're still thinking our expectations are at this high level. Well, then you got to show me that at the deadline. You got to show me that in the moves you make. You got to show me that in the urgency that you show, and they didn't have any of that. And to me, that's where they screwed up. They weren't nearly urgent enough. I mean, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with the team. I think people need to understand, look, guys like Bo Bichet's 24 years old, right? So look at Aaron Judge right now. Go back and look at the first big year he had. The next year, he stunk up the joint for 3/4 of a year, and Yankee fans wanted to get rid of, it's over. He's not that good. They're putting him in the same category as Gary Sanchez, thinking neither one of these guys will turn around. Aaron Judge did. A lot of guys, unless your name's Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, Juan Soto, we're talking about, really, it's only 5-6 guys I could think of. You think about Pujols' first 10 years, who just jump on a scene, and when the book gets written on them, right, on how to get them out, they don't seem to have any adjustment. Like somehow on the fly, their numbers don't go down. Everyone else has that happen to them. So I'm not worried about any of the Blue Jay players. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong. But A, they weren't aggressive enough at the deadline, and B, I think they put the cart before their horse. They weren't ready yet to claim themselves as a contender to get to a World Series. They just weren't good enough for that yet.
You think they knew that deep down and they just decided, hey, listen, let's not swing for the fences. Let's not have anything to do with Montas. Let's not have anything to do with Castillo. Or did they go out and try and make those deals? Like, I'm one of those guys that sits back and goes, they got to be out there doing something. I mean,
we heard they
team.
were.
You've got Vlad under control for a few years. You've got a decent starting pitching, incredible bullpen. I mean, the bullpen's been the best story about the Blue Jays all season long, right? But like, was it them not believing that they were in that right spot? Was it ownership that said, listen, we've already anteed up for George Springer and a couple other guys. I'm not interested in taking on payroll. Is it the lack of term that was available for some of these guys? Like, what was it in your mind?
I think more than anything else, it was a lack of urgency, because it's the urgency that enables you to go pay the extra years on deals and take money you don't want to take. Nobody wanted. Look, I go back to, and I know I'm not trying to defend giving Garrett Cole 9 years, but I'm going to get on the Angels here in this manner. The Angels were the team that lost out on Adrian Beltre a million years ago to the Texas Rangers. They didn't want to give him a 6th year.
It's my favorite baseball player of all time, by the way.
Right? Look at the difference. The Angels had 47 third basemen after that, and Beltre took the Rangers to the World Series twice, right? Now going to the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Then Garrett Cole was a free agent. The Angels offered him 8 years, but wouldn't give 9. Like, if you're really willing to give 6, 7, and 8, which are all going to suck, you won't give the 9th? Like, at that point, it's ridiculous. Those are the kind of things you have to do in trades, giving away prospects you don't want, taking on money you don't want. That's all urgency. So the answer as to why they didn't probably has a number of different factors, but I think the number one factor, and this has to stem from ownership, is urgency. And I'll just answer the other part on the back end. Here's the other part. They don't want to tell you that they know they're not that great. They don't want to tell you they can't beat the Astros in a 7-game series or even in a 5-game series, which they won't even get to play clearly because of the right. They don't want to say that to you because they sold you these great expectations. It's not just on the Jays ownership. This happens with teams all the time. They're not going to tell you that. But to me, they needed to tell you that in some way going back 2 years by not jumping so far in advance. Look, if you want to stake your claim that you're going to go win, then you have to go out there and win. You can't go sign those guys and then all of a sudden say, now we're going to go be shy and at least not be honest and say, we know we're not good enough. In that room, they know they're not good enough to make this year matter that much in October, and they don't think those moves would have been worth it to do it. That's the end of the day what happened.
That sucks.
Could it be also
That's
that
why they don't tell it to you? That's why it sucks.
I know.
Are the Jays a little sick of the rental player situation, though, Casey? Like,
Isn't everybody? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants to rent players, right? At the end of the day, it's like you're not getting anything back. It's the same as you don't want to, rent an apartment. I don't keep anything. But you know what? If you win, does it matter? I go back to now. I know Joe Madden tried to screw it up, and I love Joe. But Aroldis Chapman got traded for the top prospect in the Cubs system, a Cubs system that at the time had plucked Chris Bryant and put him at third base and had Gleyber Torres, right? They rented Aroldis Chapman for that. They wouldn't have won the World Series without him. You think they care at this point what Gleyber Torres is doing or that Chapman went right back to the Yankees? They don't. No. The Jays know, and this is just my own opinion on it, but the Jays know, Lachlan, they know that renting is not going to net them a World Series. They know that the Astros, Dodgers, Mets, and Braves are so far better than everybody else, and this year that is true. And I didn't put the Yankees in there, notice. They're so far better than everybody else that somebody might get knocked off in a 5-game series, but either the Astros or Yankees are going to play either the Braves, Mets, or Dodgers, and even in the crazy baseball sport we cover, nothing's going to stop that. Team may surprise and get into an LCS to play one of those teams, right? Knock somebody out in 5 games, and then guess what? They're going to lose in 7 games to one of those teams. It will be Dodgers, Mets, or Braves against Yankees or Astros, and I don't even think there is another field to choose from.
Yeah, that makes sense then. So that explains not putting your foot on the gas at the trade deadline.
It explains Whit Merrifield. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
Whit Merrifield.
Let's explain Whit Merrifield. Whit Merrifield, the guy who basically at the end of the day said, "Hey, my team sucks right now, so I'm not going to go to Toronto. I wouldn't even play anyway. But if you trade me somewhere where I want to do it, not with these idiots, then I'll get vaccinated." Oh, fantastic, Whit. That sounds like something I'd be interested in. What an ass.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? That made me laugh. It was, as soon as they traded for him, it was funny because up here, obviously, it's very different down there. I think they're still big on vaccination up here, which I think they should be. Everybody's got their own opinion. I don't want to get into it with you, but it was hilarious because when they traded for him,
you can't play in the States if you're not vaccinated. If you're fucking Blue Jay either, so it works both ways. I mean, both borders are the same.
Yeah, but all the Blue Jays are vaccinated.
If you're not
right?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Like,
if there was somebody on the
team
Blue Jays,
element, unlike the Royals, can you imagine? By the way, Witt was one of the leaders of the Royals. Are you surprised at all why 10 of them weren't vaccinated? It's like, I don't care where you stand on vaccinations. It's like, let me just give you really quick the analogy that I use. Really quick.
Dude, they were missing like 10 starters when they came up.
10 guys. Like a third of the team basically said, fuck this, I'm not going. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
Here's the way that I equate this. So when I moved to LA, I was there for 3 years. When I moved to Los Angeles, there was this dumb rule, and I say dumb because I'm from New York, where you just basically walk wherever the fuck you want, right? So this is dumb rule where if legitimately somebody steps off the sidewalk, they now, like in the middle of the road, right? And there's a crosswalk, but there's a green light. Everyone must stop, and that it doesn't matter. We would say an old lady. I don't know why it has to be an old lady, but whoever can walk across the whole street. Now, I thought that was dumb, but I didn't run someone over. Right? I decided to say, okay, if these were the rules, this is what I'll do. I don't care if you think vaccinations are dumb. Get the shot, get the damn dumb's lollipop, and go play baseball and keep your mouth shut. Seriously.
Yeah.
Dude, it was crazy because the day the Jays.
I love the analogy, though.
Blue Jays trade for Whit Merrifield.
Vaccinations versus running people down in New York.
Yeah. By the way,
if you step out of the road, you're going to get hit.
I got to take you to the behind the scenes here, right? So on the screen that I have in this lovely, and I happen to use the same site, but they're not paying us. I'm not going to shout out who does this, but for my podcast. Yeah. And I actually don't do mine live. So I've never seen comments. And I looked over, there's somebody who wants to roll me over drunk and throw me in dirt. I mean, I want to say, this is a better group of people that watch my podcast. So you should subscribe, get to Casey Stern on Twitter, all of you. Yeah. And I mean, I'll do anything for money, really. I just give me a video camera. All right.
Apparently you would, because you need some furniture for your apartment, Casey.
Well, shoot, man. I told you rentals are fine. You know? I mean, come on. I got no problem with rentals.
This guy makes me laugh. He's like, oh my God, Shia LaBeouf should play this guy. Like, if there's ever a life story, I love how it's. I'm not playing. I mean, he should. I mean, if my. By the way, if Shia LaBeouf could play a guy who didn't charge his computer, so your battery is low, just came up like he's an asshole. Put that in the script. I'm gonna literally gently disappear. Talk about me. I'm gonna charge my computer. This is why I called Unfiltered. I don't edit my podcast because I think editing is bullshit. Yeah, it is.
So if you guys
go
edit
live,
this one,
you got to start going live. Casey.
No, go grab your charger, dude. Go grab your charger.
I'm gonna figure out how to do this. So watch. I'm gonna gently tip over the microphone.
Yeah, that's right. He's going to go get his charger. He's right, though, dude. They cheaped out at the deadline. I was talking to a buddy of mine about that the other day, and we were talking about the slide that the Jays are on. Like, they lost the last of two, I believe, the last of three to the Cubs, who were just shit, and they had to come from behind them in the two that they won. On top of that, they lost 3 to the Angels, who were in town, who are shit. Like, just pure shit, even though they've got Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. And that was coming off a road trip where they just went and punched the Yankees and the Red Sox in the mouth, and they were like 5 games back of the American League East, right? And 2, 3, 4 games up. And it was frustrating. It's still frustrating because all the messaging that you got from the Blue Jays drove me fucking crazy. This is our year. Everything's going to be fine. We're a world-beating team. We're going to be aggressive.
There was a bit of that.
We were talking about it before the deadline, dude. Like, Ross Atkins was like, we're going to be very active. We're having lots of conversations. And they come back with Zach Pop, Whit Merrifield, and Anthony Bass. And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And I was talking with Max Fawcett about it. And I'm like, this is garbage. They should have never have done this. Max Fawcett from the National Observer. And he's like, no, this is good. They didn't need to do a whole lot. And now we're literally watching.
They did need to.
Because everybody else
I think
did
they
more.
Needed to make a couple of moves. Right, like, and I'm not a huge like I don't know baseball like you and Casey, but just like listen, I think they got a little bit gun shy from the Marcus Semien thing, right? You know what? You throw a bunch of money at somebody with the expectation, come here, you're gonna love it here, and then they take the next, the plane out as soon as the check comes, right? So
yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think it's just a matter of the fact that I think Ed Rogers is a cheap prick, if you ask me. I think the guy who owns the team is like penny wise, dollar poor, if you will. He's one of those guys that will say, yeah, fuck, let's spend them, make it look like we're spending and not do a fucking thing with it. Like, it's And it's frustrating because I'm like a huge Jays fan, and we don't talk about the Blue Jays enough, and we're going to start talking a little bit more about it, and we're going to have Casey on from time to time to talk about it. But it's like it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Like, it was embarrassing at the trade deadline. I'm embarrassed watching these games. I tweeted the other day, "Fuck, wake me up when the playoffs start if we indeed secure a wild card position." Like, the Baltimore Orioles are coming out of nowhere with a couple of first-year guys and a whole bunch of has-beens, and the Blue Jays did nothing, like fucking nothing at the trade deadline. The Yankees went out and got Montas. Yankees went out and got Benintendi. Red Sox are nothing, so it doesn't fuck. Who cares about the Red Sox? No one cares about the Red Sox anymore.
Bad this year.
Yeah,
They're awful.
Yeah. And they're not even that bad. Like, the American League is just it's a fucking hornet's nest is what it is. We're just waiting for Casey to come back. But it's been hard to watch because it's like my thing, right? Like, at night, 7:00, I get set. I sit down, I do watch a little coffee, and I watch some Blue Jays, and I'm fucking so tired of like logging in at 7:20, turning it on at 7:20, having them be down 6-0 already, and go, fuck, seriously? I got to sit here stressed out for the next 6-7 innings to figure out if they can figure it out. And they could have had it all at the trade deadline, but they just decided to be cheap, not take on dead money.
I've been watching a lot more ball lately. I have been. And again, I'm not as stressed out about the Jays' performance this year as you are, clearly, but I'm not as invested. And I finally went to my first Blue Jays game when I came and visited you guys in the winter there.
Yeah, that was awesome. Fun. You'd never been to a game? That was your first game?
I've never been to a game.
Really? Seriously?
Not a very well-traveled individual. Yeah.
No, you're not. No.
Yeah.
You were probably surprised that beer was $15 a beer. Probably shocked.
No. I'm in Alberta where they violate you when you go to concerts and sporting events, like completely violate you. Hey, you know what? That actually reminds me of a story. So we actually are the reason why.
Here we go.
The Edmonton Oilers stopped screwing people on the 12-ounce cups.
What?
So they open up the new building and everything goes up. Like everything's now majorly expensive, and everyone's bitching about it. And then I've never been to a game. I saw online people were like, "Look at this! They're screwing you an ounce on the beer." And sure enough, people were like literally taking their beer home, pouring it to where it was, going home and putting it in a measuring cup and going, "Look, it's 11 ounces. It's not 12 ounces." And I remember saying to Grant, I'm like, they can't do that. They can't say $16 or $14 or whatever the hell it is for a 12-ounce cup of beer and then give you 11 ounces. That's against the rules. So I said, we should phone the AGLC. And we phoned the AGLC on the show, and we did like a week where we were calling and keeping track. Like, somebody got assigned to our case, right? We weren't even at the games, but we were bitching about it. We're like, that's bullshit. They have to fill the damn. Within 3-4 days of us doing that, they actually started filling the beers up to the top and actually giving you 12 ounces at the games. And we didn't get any credit for it, but even though we demanded it on the air. But I said to the woman at the AGLC, she said, "Listen, we can't really do anything, and we probably wouldn't have done anything because people will bitch online, but they won't call us. We're the ones that go in and tell them. But if we're not being told about it, so good for you guys." So we actually saved when the building first opened up, we saved everybody a bunch of money. They got an extra ounce because of the locker room.
So you got that much more beer in your beer because you decided to do something about it for people. How did now? When did you? First of all, that's incredibly fucking petty. I love it. I don't know why. I just love it. I guess if you're paying that much money for beer, you want a full beer. You don't want an ounce to be missing from your pint.
Absolutely. If you're advertising 12 ounces and I'm paying $14 for it or $15, I don't even know how much it is for a beer. Somebody will say something in the comments that's been to an Oilers game in the last year. It's gone up. But when the building first opened up, it was higher than it was at place. And that's what they were doing. They had 12-ounce cups and they were shorting you an ounce. And again, like I said, we saw it online. People were doing Facebook posts and Instagram stuff. Look, they're screwing us. But no one actually physically. Hockey games, Oilers games, So they opened up that building, I don't know how many years ago now, but they've been in that, and it's a gorgeous building, and everything went up. Like the cost of tickets, everything, as you would, right? It's $1 billion freaking building. So he's trying to make back some of his money. And they legitimately were going out of their way to screw everybody on the beer. And that stopped when we went on the air and complained about it.
Okay. So you think it was a concerted effort to short people, every single person, 1 ounce
on purpose
of liquid alcohol in their beer?
100%. Somebody said we're going to put 12-ounce beers up, and we're gonna F everybody. Absolutely, 100%.
Did they ever cop to it, or did they just say, "Oops, it was just a pouring mistake"?
No one ever said a word about it. They went in. We phoned the AGLC. They did an investigation. We called them back and forth for a number of days, and then the woman that was on our case called back and said, "Yeah, we fixed it."
All right.
And sure, we had people calling, going, "Lock!" Like for about a week. Yeah. Every day, I'd had like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 messages on Facebook and on my social media, going, "Look, they're filling the cups now. Thank you."
If you missed it, Casey, I know you were busy charging your computer. What you missed there was Lachlan went on a right-fighting journey to make sure that everybody got a full 12-ounce beer when they bought a 12-ounce beer. It was a big problem at Rexall Place in Alberta. Big fucking problem. And not only did he go to the Lottery and Gaming Commission of Alberta, he got the job done with a whole bunch of pictures of 11 ounces instead of 12 ounces worth of beer. Just wanted to let you know. Can you hear us? Can't hear us. It's frozen.
We lost him.
Did we lose him again?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
No
He'll go in and out and come back. Yeah.
Yeah. Where is he? See if he
so what's going on with Casey now? Is he just doing the podcast, or is he calling games?
No, he's doing a podcast. He's had a crazy fucking 2 years. Like just a crazy.
As soon as I heard his voice, I'm like, I know that voice.
He has done World Series. He's done the NBA Finals. He has done March Madness.
I used to watch NCAA like religiously
as
when I was younger.
When you watch him talk and you watch him spin a story, or you watch him get into a subject, or you watch him, he is one of the greatest sports communicators of our time, without question. And one of the greatest communicators of all time as well. And took a break because he had to take care of his family, left TBS Sports under weird circumstances. I think all that shit's just getting settled right now. And I think the hope is that he wants to get back in the game. But more importantly, he's doing it on his terms, right? Like that's the fucking incredible part of Casey. He's one of those guys, like he put this up today on his Twitter feed. He's kind of like me that way. He's like, fuck, if you're going to use this as an opportunity to be able to create content, you might want to do a good job of educating people. And he puts out these little things like today's 2 cents. In the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity. Albert Einstein. He's just a really good human being who wants people around him to experience what he's experienced in life. And life happens, right? Life happened to him a couple of years ago. Life happened to me 4 or 5 years ago, where you go, fuck, maybe I need to kind of take stock of my life. Maybe I need to figure out where I'm going. Maybe I got to figure out what I got to do. And that's exactly what he's doing. But he's doing it on his own terms, which like so many people in this industry are doing, from that traditional space where you find yourself on the outside looking in and you're like, you know what, I could get back into it. I could do this stuff, but I want to do my own thing, which is what makes his content so incredible. Not only sports, but sports betting, hockey, football, basketball, hot takes and hot dogs. Go to BLEAV Network. There's a ton of great stuff on there, but more importantly, Casey's podcast is called Unfiltered. It is really, really good. And we're going to try and get him back. In the meantime, yeah, you should. He's a great follow. At Casey Stern on Twitter. Give him a follow there. Sub to his podcast as well. BLEAV you can get it pretty much wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, etc. iHeart too. But yeah, dude, if you want a guy that's able to talk about the game, every aspect of the game, doesn't matter what the game is, doesn't matter what the sport is, and a guy who's a really good human being that wants to see the world around him will be a little bit of a better place, Casey Stern is your guy. He is just incredible. Like,
you got to talk him into going live, because I think it would be an interesting podcast if he had fans right there, like we do, right? I think it'd be a very interesting dynamic for a guy like that thinks as quickly as he does, right? And would be able to bounce back and forth from a guest to a comment. Obviously, when you jump on it with a guy that clearly has a broadcasting background, there's just this different rhythm that you have, right? And I know the name, I don't know the guy. As soon as he jumped on, I was like, okay, this is going to be entertaining. This is going to be a good podcast today.
Oh, dude, yeah, he's incredible. I can't wait.
Yeah.
He's trying to figure some stuff out now on his back end. If you can't get there, great. If you can't, no worries. More importantly, we can stay in Alberta for the next segment of this conversation.
Going full Alberta.
You're going full Berta. Welcome from Alberta, not only Lachlan Cross, Army Chris from the Fire for Effect podcast. There he is. He's wearing his Jesus Christ shirt. And in his kitchen, please welcome
the greatest American who ever lived.
Ryan Lindley. Both these guys are in Alberta. Army Chris, Ryan Lindley. Good to see you both. Ryan, you're in Alberta. You just decided to fly out. You decided you're going to go see Lachlan or go see Chris, or go see everybody. What precipitated this visit, if you will?
It's the full volume gig that they're hosting tomorrow for 95.7 Cruise FM here at Chris's house. Actually, that is a pretty big event that sounded pretty intriguing, and the Worlds were able to make it happen. And I decided, I'll take advantage of that and jump on a plane.
Well,
and come on out.
Actually, let's be honest. As much as the event was intriguing to you, you wanted to come out here and prove to us that the beer can chicken is just a big hoax.
That's going to be a big thing that's going to happen here tomorrow. We're going to debunk your entire province's belief that it tastes better if you put a beer can in a chicken's ass. What really happened, and I swear I haven't proved it yet, but I think what happened is a guy somewhere probably here in Alberta was getting weird in a barn with a chicken one night and got caught, and he just told no, that's not what you think, it's just tastes better this way, and it just spun out of control from there. So we're gonna debunk that.
It's one of those things, Dean, and I don't know where it started, where the conversation started, but we had Linz on, and then he just started going off of, like, randomly, like we were talking about, I don't know, it was like, I think we were talking about onion in a grilled cheese, and then you pivot with, and oh, by the way, beer can chicken is a total hoax too. And I've never seen people get so mad. They were angry.
It was like you told them the tooth fairy wasn't real. It really was. Like, it was like,
the problem is they don't understand science. So.
Yeah, no, they don't.
Legitimately. Well,
I just
hold on.
assumed that the beer can chicken made the beer in the beer butt chicken made the chicken taste better because of the beer butt. It doesn't make anything taste better. It's just a beer can up a chicken's ass while you're cooking the chicken. That's pretty much it.
If you think that beer does anything, you probably believe that Bill C.
I did. I still do. I still think there's something to it. And I find it entertaining that Army Chris is now some kind of a convert when he's been doing beer butt chicken forever.
But did you never ask me why?
Okay, why are you doing beer butt chicken then?
The chicken standing up.
Oh, shit. Did you put fucking herbs in the can?
Listen,
you're making that up. I'm with you, Chris. You're making that shit up now. You're making up beer butt chicken.
He just wants to be the cool guy that doesn't think it works anymore.
I wanted to believe so bad that it was a real thing. And then I did this test like a year ago, and I had to concede there's no Santa Claus, and beer can chicken's bullshit.
I disagree. We do it all the time here. My wife and I do it all the time. And
you believe.
And I truly believe that it does something to the chicken and makes it tender and more juicy
at all.
You're going to be on a panel of judges tomorrow. I guarantee you, man.
Yeah, so we've got a panel. What we're doing is we're going to pick 5 people that are at the full volume event that 95.7 Cruise FM is hosting here at Army Chris's house tomorrow. We're going to grab 5 people. We're going to make them judges, including Lachlan. We'll make Lachlan a judge. And the way we've got it set up, it's going to be a scorcher. Apparently, it's going to be like 35 fucking degrees here tomorrow. So the radio guys are going to be in the garage. We're going to have the cooking going on out back. They're not going to see which chicken is which. And we're going to give them a blind taste test. You tell us which one had the beer in it, and I'll guarantee you they won't know.
100%.
Okay, so are you going to do your spag cock thing too?
No. We're doing two chickens. One of them's going to have beer, and one of them's going to have water, and that's going to be it.
Oh, so you're doing 2 stand-up chickens.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay,
Which is
and
what
then
you just said. Yeah, and then one's gonna
Okay.
have water, one's gonna have beer.
well, no,
He
because
literally just
you
said that.
Are you doing the
No,
Jimmy
but-
thing where you just repeat what I say? Or
Yeah, he is.
no,
He's
no,
totally
no,
doing
no.
it.
Well,
You're
no,
like,
because
we're
you
gonna
guys
do one
are,
with beer, one with water, and then you're like, so are you doing one with beer and one with water?
No.
Like, that's
No.
literally what he just fucking said.
Kate, listen. I was
Lachlan,
excited
here's another
because
thing I
there
need
was
you
a
to do,
conversation about
I am listening.
spagcock chicken too.
Spatchcock.
Spagcock. Oh, okay.
Spagcock chicken.
What's spag
Splooge
cock?
cock.
That sounds like not a good thing.
I don't know. I was just making it up.
You need to call your boss
Yeah.
and tell everybody on the radio. Everybody that's a cruise listener is texting in and wants my fucking address right now, man.
Oh, we've been giving it to him.
Not an open invite.
We're announcing it on the radio. I've just been giving
You're
it
the
out
most
on the radio.
dangerous guy in Edmonton, Alberta. Like, you give a shit who comes to your
You
fucking
don't even
house.
know,
Right?
dude. You don't even know. So last night,
Yeah.
hang on before we go
Yeah,
any
what's
further.
it like being there?
Yeah,
That's
let's
what
talk
I wanna
about
know.
what you did
Let's-
last night.
Let's talk
What
about
shit tank you
Ryan
brought
in
the guns
Alberta.
out.
Never been to
Oh.
Alberta. I want to get to the whole scene.
Yes.
Go ahead and tell me about last night, and then we'll get your details. Go
just
ahead.
for what you just said about what are you worried about? So last night, obviously, when you get drinking an entire bottle of whiskey,
Yeah.
you start talking about guns because there's guns in this house. Like, I mean, a lot of guns in this house. And I was fucking holding like AR-15s last night, tanked out of
Jesus.
my mind. Some Heckler and Co. fucking crazy machine gun. I've never touched guns like this in my life, and it's fucking. I went full Berta last night. Like, this is fucking awesome. Never held anything like this in my entire existence. So it rubs off on you. It's a different gear out here, man.
Yeah.
It's a
It was
real
learning
different gear.
opportunity for Ryan.
Yeah,
Today-
let me just kind of back that up right now, because what you just kind of shed light on was the fact that Army Chris has a lot of guns, and you guys had a 26 rye. You, Dave, Army Chris, polish a 26 rye.
40.
After starting drink 40 rye, pardon me, after him handing you a beer at like 9 o'clock at the airport. It's what you did. There's a pill. And not only did he hand you the beer at the airport, but here's the incredible part: is you actually said something to me. You're like, dude, it's so crazy here. It's like there are no rules, and I've gone back to 1995. Explain that if you can. What is Alberta like to you?
So when I showed up, Chris picked me up. It was I landed 9 o'clock local time here. So I get out of the airport. Chris is waiting in the waiting arrivals area with a cold can of pill at 9 a.m. for me. So I'm like, okay, I guess we're doing this.
In the airport?
Directly to JT's Bar and Grill after that for a few pints there. And as I'm there, I'm walking to the bathroom and passing video lottery terminals, which I
that are
didn't know
full.
was a thing. And walking into the bathroom, there's cigarette ads. Like I haven't seen an ad for cigarettes, even though the packages are all brown and boring now. They still advertise cigarettes. Like they're in the assets. I threw the pictures in the assets, I think. So
Okay, let me go.
if you want to see them,
Was
they're
there
in
a
Yeah.
guy at the VLTs with an oxygen tank?
Yes,
and one
he was
leg?
there,
Yeah,
Locke.
one leg.
The fact
he had
that
no
this was so
foot.
alien to me was confusing. I'm like, you don't have this in Ontario?
All it was missing was smokes at the table. Like the only thing we couldn't do was smoke at the
Oh,
table.
that
and
happens. They just when about 10 or 11 o'clock at night, they just shut the doors when they know no one else is coming, and then all right, everybody can smoke now.
Holy
That's-
shit!
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something else. So we went and did some running around, and then he was able to take me on a bit of a $5 tour of Edmonton and show me the different parts of the city. And man, what a cool place this is. Like it's a really
I showed
neat-
Ryan everything Locke bitches about.
There's your
I showed
smokes ad. Export
Yeah.
A since 1928. Quality like no other. Quality smokes. A single stroke can leave you helpless. Cigarettes are a major stroke, but this is a quality smoke, everybody.
That's what I
Try
used to
these
tell-
quality smokes.
when I was trying to pick up chicks. That's what I used to say. A single stroke for me, baby, will
Yeah.
render you helpless. And apparently that's how they're selling cigarettes now too. So
This is in the this isn't allowed in Ontario. You cannot advertise
No.
cigarettes anywhere in Ontario, but apparently
I
you
don't
can
think
in
you're
the
allowed
bathrooms
to
of bars
here
in
either.
Alberta.
Just so
No, I-
you know.
Yeah,
Just the
those are
fact that you
leftover
wandered
posters
into a
from the
fucking bar in Alberta that's doing it doesn't mean it's allowed.
are
Can
the
we say that
VLTs
out
allowed?
loud? Yes,
Those VLTs are
Yes.
Okay, so
yes.
so you land. He hands
Yeah.
you a beer at the airport. You bring a beer into the airport, the arrivals portion of the airport with you, Chris?
outside on the road. Like
Oh,
I was
I'm just
standing on the
saying.
sidewalk.
Oh yeah, of course. You
Yeah.
got to have a road
Which
beer
makes
when you
it-
land.
Makes it better for some
then you-
reason.
On the
It
way
wasn't
home,
in the airport. It was
You-
just
you
outside the
just on
airport,
the
in front of
street.
the
There's
taxis.
There's an air of
He was
nobody
worried
gives a
some
fuck.
hillbilly from Grand Prairie was going to start yelling at him and shit. So
Well, listen, yeah, that's what I said. I said this is a way better welcoming committee than the deputy prime minister got. So I'm
Yeah.
happy already. But when I got
Mhm.
off the plane, there's an air of don't give a fuck here that doesn't exist in Ontario, and that includes the customs and security people in the airport. I walked out and I was kind of lost. I've never been in this airport before, so I'm looking like, how the hell do I get out? Customs guy looks. Oh, if you want to go through this door, I'll open it. It's restricted access, customs, U.S. customs agents only. Yeah, come on through here. Just walk through there and turn left. And I'm walking down. There's people wearing like all these security clearance badges. And here's me with my backpack. And they're just staring at me like, where the fuck are you from? I'm in restricted area. They just, whatever. Just go that way. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's a mood here. The mood here is whatever. And it's kind of refreshing. I got to tell you, it's been quite the 24, 48 hours.
Hang on, Locke. I got another question. Hang on.
There is that feel.
You're going to ask him a question that makes Alberta look like a great place, aren't you? I know exactly what you're going to do. You're going to hijack the conversation.
I had no question lined up.
All right,
no
good.
question lined up.
Good.
It feels like my parents went away for the weekend. That's what it feels like right now.
Yeah.
That there's no one in charge in Alberta?
Yeah. It just feels like we're rudderless here.
Well,
it's great.
isn't.
No. So I'll give you an example. Let's use bylaws.
Yeah, please.
Like in Ontario, you guys probably follow them. We look at the word. We look at the word bylaw and go, fuck, that's not a real law. Nobody's gonna follow that shit.
Yeah.
So you can have cigarette ads in the shitter, and you can smoke in church and whatever.
Yeah, you can smoke in church.
Hand a beer to Buddy as he walks through the airport.
What's it like culturally? Different. Obviously, you're from Ontario. And listen, I've lived in Alberta, so I'm happy to attest to the fact that not only is it a different vibe, culturally, it's incredibly different. Like if you go to Western Canada, there's a real back in time vibe, is there not?
That's what it feels like. It feels like I'm in like at least 1995 or prior. Like there's 80s vibes here. There's just like I say, it's like from everything from what I've already told you to right down to like radio stations and listening to the radio and listening to like Lachlan's show. I got to go to Cruise this morning and hang out in the studio with them today, which was really cool. But it was like listening to the radio in 1999 in Toronto when radio actually was something. And it's just weird. It's like time forgot Alberta, but they still have nice things, like it's odd. It's strange.
A lot of liquor stores, pot stores.
Dude. Oh my God.
Every corner.
In Ontario, we have the LCBO, the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, and that's the only place you can buy like liquor
and the beer
spirits.
store. Yeah.
And we have a beer store. We're finally starting to loosen it up and let you buy your beer and wine in like some grocery stores.
Yeah, because
out here, fuck.
You sell it out of your trunk. I heard.
Wherever some guy in a van. Hey, you want a 40? Yeah, sure, dude. Thanks, man.
That is shocking. When you come here, because I was in Manitoba for about 6 years, and I had and then previous to that, we were in BC. We were only in Alberta for like a brief period of time, and literally you had to plan if you're going to get weekend drunk, you had to plan all week. And you couldn't miss the liquor store, and it was just a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
In Alberta, you never worry about being out of booze, right? Because you can stand on the roof of your house and throw a rock, and you're going to hit a liquor store. It's not a joke. And
if your shit tank skip the dishes, they'll bring it to your door.
Yeah. They have 3 or 4 services that deliver booze, and there's a couple of them that are like exclusive, just booze, right?
It's a 24-hour booze there. Like, are there 24-hour liquor stores? Really?
I don't know if that's correct.
24. He's
Can you get 20?
Okay. Although I had a guy back in the day, and he would open up his liquor store. If we came in at 3 a.m., we were out of beer. But there's no 24-hour liquor store here.
No.
Let me tell.
I thought there wasn't Drizzly 24 hours?
Actually, and
Chris?
that 7-Eleven up by my house that sells beer, the only one in Edmonton, well, they're open 24 hours, so maybe you're correct.
So you're right.
They're
They do sell
starting to do
beer
it.
24 hours.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
And just when you think it's okay, I've seen it all, like this is pretty nuts. This morning, I get tickets. I've got 2 tickets to the Monster Dome, Monster Jam rally where we're going to watch Jimmy wrestle people downtown Edmonton.
Monster Pro Wrestling.
I cannot wait. I'm going downtown
Careful with
to
the
watch
word
a
rally.
midget wrestle. I mean, this is peak Alberta. I fucking love it.
Yeah, you're getting the full experience, right? Yeah, it was funny because I called Lynn's. Well, first
Did
of
we
all,
get you crew tickets yet too? 'Cause
No,
you're
I haven't
going
heard
to crew
back.
on Sunday. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Motley
going to
Crue?
see Motley Crue. Like, I mean, it's 1987 here. It's fucking amazing. Like,
You
I
should go to the
travel.
movie theaters and see the original Top Gun. I heard it just landed in Edmonton.
It did. We still have City of Champions signs up, and none of our teams have won since the 80s. So maybe we're hanging on a little bit.
It's amazing. And like I go to the radio. The radio station's playing all music from like the 80s and 90s. Tomorrow we've got that event. That's the only thing that's kind of like not in the 80s realm. Sunday we're going to see Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Joan Jett, and like it's like I got into a tube that took me back in time, and that's what it feels like here. And I don't think I don't know
Feels
if
like
I'm
you
going to
got on
survive
an
till-
airplane in 2022, and when you landed in 1990.
Yeah,
Can we
Is that
qualify
about right?
by you? You did get picked up by Army Chris. You're
Well,
living
that was
with
part of-
Army Chris. I think
don't
there
think I'm
might
gonna
be a
survive till
little
Monday.
of that. You're getting
What's
a
drinking
good
like?
dose.
What's that like?
I
Because
can't.
Lachlan, I'll tell you the story Lachlan told me. I don't know if any of this is true.
Oh, I
But
can't.
he said that you poured Army Chris into his bed last night, said that you and Dave and him drank an entire bottle of rye, and you were the last man standing, and you showed up to the radio station this morning. Chris had the shakes, you did not, and everything was fine. He said that Chris looked like he was going to die. That's exactly what he said to me. Is that true? Yes or no?
I'll defer to Chris to answer that.
Chris, is any of that true? You're quiet, so I know you're all the way in the bag already.
I have no idea. Like Lachlan, you need to understand, lives in a different world than everybody else.
Yeah, I know.
And he perceives things differently. Like he went to a board meeting at work. This isn't a bit. He's sitting in work. Somehow he's talking about my house, and I inherited it from my father who built it, in 1812 and shit. The deck didn't come in until 1922 because that's when fucking LED lights were invented, apparently.
It's a brand new
And
house,
everybody's
by the
like,
way.
"What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
So I'll leave it there. I don't know where.
So did
Locke
you
got
not
that
pass out
information.
first? Were you the first guy to pass out? No.
No, we amicably said it's midnight. We got to get up early.
Amicably.
Let's shut
Yeah,
her
you
down.
are
We had
shitter.
one more, and we fucking left.
All right, good.
It's like,
I
come
don't
on,
have
man,
the
help me
gear.
out here, man.
Oh no,
Do you
he's
have-
right.
Yeah, but
He's
do you have the
absolute-
same gear Chris has? Because it's like it's 4:21 in the afternoon. He's ripped, and you seem to be in pretty you seem
I
to be
will
in pretty
not.
good shape.
I
What's
will
this-
not make it. I will not make it to Monday, Dean.
Is
I
it
swear to God.
legendary at Army Chris's house? Is the drinking legendary? Tell me about it.
It's
We're going to see
we
Jimmy wrestle. I need to be half fucking gun for this.
You're fully gunned now. It's 4 in the afternoon. That thing better start in 5 minutes.
A little bit
It's
behind the
well, it's
curve
close
here, but
enough.
anyway.
As
They'll
soon as we
be
get off this
fine.
pod, we're calling the
Dean.
Uber. So it's
They'll be
something like
fine.
it's. I don't know.
Take me through it.
I don't trust myself. Like it's literally I don't trust myself because I'm easily influenced in a situation like this, and I think I'm gonna die before Monday. Like I think I will die.
Oh, we'll
before
be
Monday.
fine. We'll take care of you.
And
How's the
that's why
hangover this
that's why
morning?
Ashley's called him 18 times since he's landed.
Just
To
to
see if
check
he's
on me.
okay. Yeah. See if your ticker can take it. Take a trip to Edmonton with the boys.
It's something, man.
What do you mean? So when did the drinking start? And what's our consumption to time ratio? If you guys got into it that hard yesterday, and if Chris is almost catatonic today, what are we talking about?
So this morning was we got up. I was up about 6:45. The boys got up probably 10 minutes after me, and by 7:10 we had Bailey's and coffee going before we hit the radio station. We get to the radio station and we hung out there for a bit. We grabbed Wendy's breakfast, by the way. If you haven't had it yet, go. It's fucking amazing, and it's great when you're hungover.
The food snob loved the Wendy's. There we
did.
go. Yeah.
Those wedges were something else.
Potatoes wedge. I told you, do not ignore the potato wedge. You have to.
So we finish up at Cruise, and it was directly back. We were supposed to go shopping. We're supposed to go do some shopping for the event tomorrow, which those plans keep changing. And I don't know. I think now we're going tomorrow morning because we got back here and it's already devolving. So,
Well, I needed a beer. Okay, so
I don't know if you did.
and we got to pick up
Yeah, you
ice.
did.
There's a lot of moving parts here, so I'm trying to manage it as efficiently as possible.
Two
And
logistics
we're-
pros here can't
Yeah,
figure out how to buy
so-
chicken and ice.
We'll figure it out. It'll all work out somehow.
I just hope you make it. Like my biggest concern is that one of you is going to not wake up tomorrow or Sunday morning. That's my biggest concern because Ryan, you know,
I
what's
stopped
going on
worrying
here, right?
about that years ago. They'll be fine.
Well, yeah, I know, but like Ryan's out of town, wife's out of town. There's no one here to say, "Hey, listen, you've had 3-4 drinks tonight. You might want." He's like, "Okay," and I know you don't need that kind of governor. I know you're a pretty responsible guy, but when you're with guys like that, it's like everyone's out of town. I got no worries. I don't
And
have
Jimmy's staying
let's
here
get
tonight,
on
Dean.
the
Jimmy's
fucking
staying. I'm having a
booze.
sleepover
Jimmy's
with a
staying
midget
here
tonight.
Come on.
I'm having a sleepover with Jimmy. So you know it's going to get out of hand
Make
again.
sure. Hold on. Make sure you get video because
Oh,
this is going to happen at some point
dude.
tonight. He'll
I
be on the
told
back
Ryan, I
deck
said-
with a sword, and
Yeah.
he'll be swinging it around without a shirt on.
Look
Get
at what
video.
look what he just got.
Be prepared for the content that you're going to see tonight, man.
Oh, he got himself a new lightsaber?
And
Is
From
that what I'm
Disneyland.
seeing?
I played with it today and it was really cool. And I don't even give a fuck about Star Wars. This thing's really neat. So I was like, I can't wait to watch him play with that tonight. So yeah, we're gonna do that. But I'm telling you, you know who the it's not Chris that Chris is not the one that gives me any sort of anxiety about drinking going yesterday. It's Dave. Dave was the straightest as I would be, as sober as a judge. He seemed at midnight last night. Meanwhile, I watched that guy. Have you ever seen a bottle of vodka from Costco?
Yeah.
They're this big, right?
It's a Texas Mickey.
It's fucking nuts. And
60 ounces or something.
Dave was on that like a fucking fat kid on candy. It was amazing and straight as an arrow. So that I'm not worried about Chris. Chris shows the signs like I do. It's Dave that's the sleeper cell here.
And
man.
Dave
Look
just
out.
bought an $800 slushy machine for tomorrow to make fucking daiquiris or whatever. He's reading the book.
Are you
He's in his
serious?
basement
Look at this
pulling up-
thing.
Yeah, he's got bottles of rum. It's right there. It's an $800 fucking
It's
slushy
a pro
machine,
machine.
so he can make fucking margaritas and daiquiris and shit.
Cold booze drinks.
Like,
That
I
is a
thought I
fucking
took
guy who
my
loves
booze
drinking.
seriously.
Yeah.
You know?
That's amazing.
When you spend $1,000 on a slushy machine to incorporate alcohol into an ice drink, you fucking love drinking. Like
There's something
fucking
going on.
love it. Like
Yeah.
love it.
I know.
Well, dude, is Dave okay? Was he okay this morning? You guys, no.
Not a
Never
problem.
worry about Dave.
Dave's never changed.
Not a problem.
I gotta wonder if there are some people like a guy like Chris, a guy like Dave. Like, do you guys ever wake up with hangovers, or you've motored right through like your portion of alcohol, or you just kind of keep drinking? Like, do you is that? And am I right to assume that the only way to get rid of a hangover is to
Well,
head
it's
right
a
back into the
magical
It's the
drink?
only real effective way.
It's wild.
You-
Yeah.
This kind of descent angle is no good.
No.
So control the descent
Yeah.
by managing the consistent intake of alcohol. So it's not like that. It's like this.
Yeah.
Right? It's science. Keep drinking.
Just so you know, all of everything you just said is total horseshit.
It's science.
So the other
Bird of
thing,
science, boy.
I don't know if we can talk about this, but have you been taken into the basement?
Not yet.
Okay, well, you at
Oh,
some
God.
point, and I won't mention it because
I'm
I
scared.
don't think I'm allowed to. But there's something in Army Chris's basement because Dave has since moved in the last couple of months. He sold his place north of the city, and Army Chris and Dave are now living together to
Yep.
save some money so that they can move to Mexico and go down and drink themselves to death in another country.
Which makes
But
sense.
Dave brought
makes sense.
something that is just, I don't even know. It's fucking unbelievable that he has this. And
How,
I honestly, I think it would be worth something. I bet you it's worth like thousands of dollars.
Oh, I
but
know
it's
what you're
the
talking
most
about.
interesting thing I think I've ever seen in anybody's basement.
What is it?
Can we talk about it? Because I
Sure.
don't think he's
Yeah.
supposed to have it.
Oh no, fuck that. They took it.
Is it a human body?
So I'll give you guys a
gonna
hint.
say, it's the dead hooker. We saw
when
her. She
Army
was here.
guys, when we go overseas
Jesus.
and you see interesting shit, we
Yeah.
fucking take it. So,
Yeah.
Locke, do you want to describe it or do you want me to carry on?
It's from, was it from,
It's from Kuwait.
Kuwait?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a mural.
I'll send you guys a picture of it later. It's a
mural
giant
of what?
fucking picture of Saddam Hussein. It's fucking huge. It was on the side of a bridge. And he's like, fuck that. We're taking that.
Come on.
I shit you not. It's down in the basement. It's scary. The first time I saw it,
You have a massive mural of Saddam Hussein in your basement?
Yeah, we're gonna put it up in our Airbnb. We're gonna put it up in the Airbnb suite in Mexico as a conversation piece.
Can we put it out for full volume tomorrow?
Like 10 by 12.
Yeah, man. I'll bring it out for full volume. It's a fucking giant
But I
thing.
don't think you're allowed to do that. You're not allowed to just take
you're not allowed
to us, Iraq.
Dude, have you not read about wars over time? When you go over and kick some ass, you can take their shit. Did you not know that?
Gene is 100%
This seems wrong.
How do you think England got their natural history museum?
no,
they went into other countries, stole their shit.
It's so bizarre.
Down, we're taking it, man.
It's so bizarre. It just stands out. Like, it's just this asshole picture of him like smiling.
Is that what he's doing?
And
He's
it's
just smiling
massive.
and waving, or is it one with him with a gun or like a funny hat on? Like, what is it?
No,
What is he
it would
doing?
be on the side of a $20 fucking dollar bill or whatever. They're like, "Fuck that, we're taking that, man."
I need
I
to
have
see
no
this now.
idea. That's
It was during the
amazing.
liberation of Kuwait, right? So we went back in to sort of get Iraq the fuck out of Kuwait, and there's all these pictures of Saddam Hussein, and there's this giant fucking thing, and Dave and the boys went, "Yeah, we're taking that." And it scared the shit out of me the first time I saw it because it's so fucking huge. I'm like, why the fuck do you have that in your spare bedroom?
How do you get a mural of Saddam Hussein out of Kuwait back into Canada? How did you do
we
that?
use military mail, so we can ship all kinds of shit. I don't even get into with the shit we've shipped back. So I'll park that.
See, now I want
That's
to
why
know.
I wasn't sure if we could talk about it because it just seems wrong.
No, Chris
it's
is
funny.
wasted.
Good to go.
He'll talk about anything right now.
Yeah,
This is
whatever.
good.
Fuck
Now
me,
I want to
whatever.
know what else you did. What other things have you stolen in your time in the military?
So we have a fucking rendered safe improvised explosive device that I brought back. A buddy of mine, I should not say this, managed
the
to
one I'm looking
smuggle
at?
managed to smuggle home a Thompson submachine gun and then sold it for 10 grand US, piece at a time. Yeah, I'll probably stop now.
Like, I feel bad for anybody that ever decides that it's a good idea to rob Army crates.
I should probably.
You ever get to the point where you feel like when you're talking to a woman mostly, I feel like I said too much.
Yeah, all the time. Every day in this fucking podcast, I think that all the time. In fact, I thought it just today. I thought, oh, Chris has probably said too much. It doesn't matter though. Okay, so you guys, what do you got going on tonight?
No
Is there a
bigs.
big drink fest? Or good, a grenade.
bigs.
That's great. Is that a live
All
grenade
good.
that we're looking at, Chris? And where did
What
we
did you get
swipe
there?
that
Well,
We
from?
got a
You
lot
got
of
it.
shit.
It's only
kicking around
live
here.
if you pull the pin. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That's amazing.
That's
I'm
a
in
tap
Alberta.
handle. That's a fucking tap handle for a bar. Like, don't you guys have grenades in Ontario?
That's not, it's a real grenade. You
The
know what?
cops are
Honestly,
coming now.
It is. It's a prop. I just thought it was funny because I could see it while you were talking about the stuff that's in the basement.
yeah, quickly say it's a prop, everybody. Say it's a prop, just in case.
Yeah.
I got
live,
some
isn't
shit I'll talk about offline, but never mind, man.
That's great. What's on tonight for you guys? Is there a big drink fest at Lachlan's house? Are you going to?
So
I want to watch the
Locke's
midget
got,
wrestling, Monster Pro Wrestling
Yeah.
at the Alberta
Monster
Avenue
Pro
Pro
Lachlan-
wrestling.
Community
Lachlan has
Center.
bridge night.
Yeah.
Like whatever Deb decided he's doing is what's happening.
Mhm.
We're gonna go watch Monster Pro Wrestling. And I said to Linz, I said, if you want to go see this, I'll take you. You can feel the enthusiasm ebbing.
Reckoning
Yeah.
Day.
Yeah, it's you got to get the full experience. Friday at the Monster Dome. Like Aunt Ginny's banging out egg salad sandwiches right now.
Yeah.
We have
She's
to
put
make
them out in the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go to that, and then we're gonna hit a couple.
You have to
watering holes.
email transfer money at the gate to get
Yeah,
in.
they don't have Interac. We'll take e-transfers for the 80 people that show up.
Tiffany
went and looked
at
at-
shaw.ca.
I went and
Just
looked at their,
transfer me
their
$7. Thank you.
I looked at their Twitter with their 40 followers, and I'm hoping they're all there tonight. It's going to be good.
Oh, they
They'll
will
be
be.
there.
They bring their own pop.
They're
They bring their own
diehard.
Mountain
The fans
Dew.
are diehard.
There'll be tons
Wow.
of parking because their moms drop them all off. It's fine. It'll be good.
So that
and
you're
Jimmy
going to see
loves it.
amateur wrestling with Jimmy, who's
Giant
better known as
Peter.
Giant Peter, which is
Giant
really
Peter.
I get it. I
His
get the
real
joke.
name is his name is Giant Jim, but we affectionately refer to him as Giant Peter or Big Peter,
And you guys made
which
gear.
drives him nuts.
The locker room has more gear every day. Like Grant
and it's
nailed it.
all
He goes,
because of
"They-
Jim.
They have more merch than Kiss.
They do. They do.
And
Well,
none of
good
it
luck.
sells.
None of it sells. It's just for fun.
Shit stays
ends
up
up
there
in-
for months.
It ends up in Value Village too. The stuff that you do give away.
Yes.
Well, listen, can you guys do me be careful? Be careful this weekend. I hate to
It'll be
sound like my
fine.
mom, but be careful. Don't listen to a word Lachlan says. Don't get sucked. Listen, I've partied with Lachlan, and I just want to say this real quick to both of you. Now, Chris, you know Lachlan's bullshit, right? He will start fights. He will tell something to somebody that's untrue just to see if he can get you guys fighting with other people. He will
All this
slip
is a
stuff
lie.
in your drink. He will
I'm not a
do
roofer.
something to your chair. No, you're a terrible,
I will
terrible
fuck with
person to
people.
party with. Terrible
Yeah.
person to party with. Terrible.
Listen, occasionally, if I see something that needs to be addressed, I'll speak up, and then I might hide behind other people and see how things go. But that's minor in the grand scheme of things.
He starts fires, walks away, and he's going to do it to one of you guys tonight, tomorrow, and maybe Sunday. And it
He's
doesn't
not
matter
coming
what it
tonight.
is. No, he's not.
Locke's that guy. He's like, fuck that bridge.
Why aren't you
Boom.
going?
We don't know.
Why aren't you
He doesn't-
going?
why
to
aren't you
wrestling?
going,
Linz
Locke?
is in town from fucking Hamilton.
Right?
He flew
And,
out to see you, and you're like,
your-
you're
your-
taking a flyer on
And your
midget
best
wrestling.
friend Jimmy.
Yeah.
Have he's never seen Jimmy do his skit.
That's
He's
not.
never been there.
No, hold on. No,
you
I
haven't been there.
actually.
You haven't been there yet.
No. He's been wrestling for about a year now, and I absolutely refuse to go. I hate wrestling.
You're a shitty
I
friend.
So do
fucking
I.
hate it.
But this is content.
Well,
This
you
is
think this
this
is the
is-
highlight of my
I'll-
fucking night?
I'll go one day.
When he
I'll tell you
wrestles
what's
Bruce.
going on. Not that I want to make you guys feel bad, but I did not know Linz was coming. My daughter's in town from Toronto, so we got family shit that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So that's why.
That's fair.
Honestly, I swear to God, if Monkey Bird wasn't here, I would be out with you guys tonight.
No, I know. I'm
So
surprised
you
visits
can.
are tough to manage.
I am as pussy whipped as anybody. Like my wife calls the shots. I'll be the first one to admit it, but I got family stuff. So tomorrow, I told Linz I'm going to try to make it to Army Chris's as early as I can tomorrow because we are doing Full Volume, which is this hair show that we do every Saturday. It's not hosted by the Locker Room, but we're taking it over and we're actually doing it live from Army Chris's back deck. Just send me a note. I'll send you his address, and you can show up between noon and 6.
No,
Dude, what happens if I put your address on Twitter? Is that okay?
sure.
Yes,
Go
no?
ahead.
Yeah. All right.
So listen, here's the thing. To be fair, Locke's right. His daughter's in town. It's tough managing
Yeah.
surprise visits. So Lynn's lands. I said, look, man, Locke's got his daughter in town. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So
I had to
plan B,
bail on the
let's-
Motley Crue show
Yeah,
too because I
so I
was
said,
going to
well,
go to
these-
Crue.
right. And I said, well, fuck it. Well, let's just get shit faced for 3 days, and that's what we're doing.
I will. I
Ish.
listen. We're gonna drink tomorrow. When I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'll keep up with you guys. I'll get you guys back on your horses at noon on for
Well,
Full
there's
Human.
three
And then I'm looking
48
forward to the
packs
chicken-
left, and me
beer
and
can
Dave are like,
chicken.
that's not fucking enough, man. You better grab another one on the way back home.
All right. Hang on there, buddy.
That was from.
You're okay.
It was from Pilsner. By the way, we dropped. You guys haven't already started drinking the
No.
booze that we dropped off from Pilsner, have you?
No, we drank that last night. We
No.
replaced it
Chris is
since. It's
being
fine.
very quiet.
Oh,
I'd
he's
have to-
hammered.
so I'd have to check. But either way, I'm pretty sure we got to do another beer run tomorrow.
I think so too.
Is that really what you
Rebecca
need right
from
now,
Pilsner
Chris?
is sponsoring it,
Yeah.
and
Well,
she
tomorrow
drops
it's gonna
off
be-
348s and goes, "Is this going to be enough?" And I dropped
No.
it off yesterday, and they've already killed one. These guys are so.
Have you had 48 beers in less than 24 hours?
I don't know.
Who, me alone?
What are you, a cop?
No, I'm asking. You had 3 guys, 48 beers in 12 hours. Is that correct?
No, because Positive Mike brought some beer too. So there's his.
So it was like
more than
60.
48, Dean.
Yeah.
Like
So
he's
there's
deflecting
Positive
with a
Mike's
worse
beer.
answer.
And there's so I don't
What's
know.
the kill count? Because I've got at least 60 beers from my understanding. 60 of rye. This is yesterday, and 3 people. Was there 3
I don't like
people?
the. I don't
Let me
like
ask
the tone of your voice.
Can
I just
Can
don't
I
like
ask
the
a
tone of your
serious
voice at all.
question since we're doing Alberta, Ontario here?
Yeah, go ahead.
3 guys, 48 beer. What is your expectation as to how long that lasts? Because I'm curious to know what the variance looks like.
A week.
2 days, 2-3 days.
For
Max
3
3
people?
for sure. 2, yeah, 2-3 days. 6
Oh yeah,
to 7
don't forget
beers a
Dave's
guy.
vodka. That's right.
That's 3 days.
Yeah, 48 beers. Yeah, I would think 2 to 3 days. I said 3 max for sure. 2. You guys did it in 12 hours. You tell
2
me 48
days?
in 12 hours, and then on top of that, crushed a 60 of rye, and on top
No,
of that, it sounds like a
26 of rye.
2.6 of vodka. No. Army Chris said it
No,
was
the
a 40.
60 was
40.
vodka.
40
the vodka
and a
was a
60 of vodka too.
The
Is that
s-
going?
No, that there was a little bit out of that already though. So
If I'm hanging out with 2 other guys and we get a 48 pack and they say, "Yeah, this will last us 2 days," I'll be like, "You fuckers better keep up, man, because that is not
Dean,
what's going to happen here."
Dean, you've never seen this. I've never seen this. You've never seen what happens here. It's a surreal
I need to
amount.
see it.
of things that are going on in Alberta. So I don't think I'll make it to Monday. I think this is it. I love you guys.
We'll get you there.
This has been
We'll
great.
get you. We'll get you there, Linz. I hope
It's a
Ashley's not
different
watching.
world.
She is.
She is for sure. She's been tweeting this whole time, texting this whole time. With
She's
like
going to phone
question
him
marks.
as soon as this is done. I promise you. the
She's doing
phone's
that
going
vague
off.
booking thing where she's
Yeah.
like question mark after Ryan speaks, question mark, like after he was like, "Oh, we had 60 beers, 60 of rye and a 60 of vodka." Ashley's just chiming in. It's like question mark. His wife.
They're drinking,
Really?
I would say, on a pace right now. They're probably, so you do the math. So waking hours, 18 hours. They're drinking 6 beer an hour is my guess. So that's why
that's
the
a pretty
48.
accurate.
That's high
Yeah.
for me though. That's not
I've
accurate
been
on
there.
my end.
I've been there and watched this kind of consumption. I've been a part
Linz.
of it. I can't go that. I never have the same endurance that they do. But
Linz, look
I
at
would
me.
say,
I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
Look at me in
What
the
is
eyes.
that?
Gotcha.
Have you ever seen anything like what you witnessed yesterday before? Have you ever seen guys drink that hard? Have you seen people go that hard? And this is what I love about Alberta too. By the way, I'm not
6
talking
times
down.
18.
What I'm saying is they are a hearty group out there. They don't.
It's 108
beers.
beer in a day.
Sounds about right.
So
but have you
so
seen
I
anything?
love
like
that
this?
we're going to show up and the beer I had for the fucking event is going to be gone. You
Oh, you're
dicks.
getting- I'm so upset.
We have a
should've kept
plan,
the beer
man, to
here.
replace everything. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I dropped
Tomorrow's
off
event.
3 free
Listen.
48 packs for the people that are coming to the full volume event.
Okay,
Listen,
so
And you
who's
dicks
Friday?
have drank it.
You showed up at my
Right.
house yesterday with 3 48 packs. I'm like, why are you bringing this now? There's
Because
no way.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I thought
What
I
the
could
fuck is
leave
that?
it for the event on Saturday.
thought-
That's called bait.
You know my beer math. Like, it's on you.
This is your
I
fault,
thought maybe
Lachlan.
you would
Like,
drink
this
your
is your
own
fault.
beer and leave that for the event.
We did that too.
Do you know how many
We
guys
already
thought
did that.
maybe throughout time? Hitler thought maybe. Fuck, didn't work out, did it? Like,
No.
what are you talking about? Thought maybe. Don't bring 3 48 packs to my house 2 days before an event and then go, where the fuck's the beer?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
why are you
like
asking
that's
me
like
that?
that's like taking a 14-year-old Filipino boy to Jeffrey Dahmer's house for an afternoon and
Exactly.
saying, "Don't
That's
touch
I
that."
thought
exactly what I was
maybe.
gonna
I
say.
thought maybe it'd be fine.
I thought
By
maybe
the
my
way,
son
you're-
could work for John Wayne Gacy this summer. It'd be great.
Ryan,
Linz,
Linz,
Yeah.
you're taken care of for the cruise show. I just got a text. You got it.
Oh.
You got a ticket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay, where?
All right.
All right. So we got that.
I'm
sorted.
gonna
Good.
go. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you
go
should.
because
I'm
I'm
done.
getting drunk just being on this podcast.
I want to stand because I need a beer and I only brought fucking one.
I can't believe you made it this long. Actually, I got to be honest with you. I
He's
thought
a
you
rock
would have had
star.
a
He's
seizure.
doing good, man. He's keeping pace. But
No, I'm
I'll
talking
tell
about
you
you.
what, last night is nothing because Jimmy's coming over tonight and he
Yeah, oh
needs
my
to
God.
see the full experience.
Oh, dude,
You
gotta
want to talk
record
about the
all of it.
James P. White experience? You're
Yeah.
getting the real deal tonight.
I might just
Just
live
do
stream.
me a
I just might
favor,
put
guys.
A camera
Put
up and live stream
sunscreen
it on
on,
my
eh?
Twitter. I just might live stream it on my Twitter.
Yeah, you
Like,
should.
Chris
Yeah.
Chris looks just sun fucked. Eh?
Yeah, he does.
No, I always look like
you got a
this.
different fucking sun out here, dude. It's hot. Like the
It's
sun
a dry
is hot, but
heat, isn't it?
It is a dry heat. There's no
Yeah.
humidity, but it's fucking when you're in the sun. Holy shit, you
bakes
baby.
you.
Yeah, I was actually bitching about 32, and then Ryan goes, "Yeah, I just left Ontario and it's 40 with 100% humidity." I'm like, "Fuck that, man. We can't."
That's
handle that
different
shit
heat.
over
Toronto.
Yeah.
We always complain about the Toronto
This
heat.
is nice. And at night, it's 15 degrees and it's cold. Like last night was freezing.
here. Yeah, there's two things Albertans can't handle. One is humidity, and
Humidity,
two is
yeah.
government-controlled liquor stores.
3 vaccines, 4 science,
Fuck, we just keep going.
5 common sense,
Bike
6
lanes,
liberal
6
politicians.
showers.
A fucking bike
big
lanes.
piles of marbles. I showed
mar-
Lynn everything Lachlan bitches about on the radio.
The
and then my
marbles,
tour.
Lachlan. I
I
saw the
showed him
marbles, today.
Here's
Yeah.
the bike lanes. Here's the funicular.
Yeah, the silver balls on the fucking side of the road. That
Oh
make
yeah,
no
I
sense.
showed him those.
That was
$600,000.
$650,000, and it went to 2
Here we
Americans
go.
in California.
Okay,
Yeah,
I don't
they
want
shipped
to
the
go
money
through
up.
a list of your municipal grievances to end the show. I really don't.
I put-
Listen,
I-
you got to
I
take
know.
them to the
Lanes.
sign street. The sign
No,
street,
you
the street that has like 600 fucking
Lock,
signs on
you
it over
gotta
3
bring her
blocks.
down. You're gonna have a jammer, man. Bring her down.
This is what it looked like yesterday, by the way.
Yeah.
That was on the golf course yesterday, just so you're aware.
Army Chris
Oh,
has a
fuck.
camo golf cart. That's awesome.
It was a centennial project trying to get him in the damn thing.
Jesus
Why does he
fucking
look like he?
Christ.
Why does he look
Look.
like an Italian mafia guy in jail?
It looks like you're trying to put his head down into your
Look
lap. That's what it looks like.
You know what you look like? You look like a priest he's wearing a disguise. That's what you look like.
Oh, that's great.
I threw a couple of videos in there if you want to see him drive. If you want to see Jimmy actually golf, there's a couple down there, and
Let's
locked
watch.
with his one.
That's pretty good. That's not bad at all. Nice roll too. Close enough. Not bad at all. No. Close. What do you think, Tabor?
Actually, that was impressive.
That was
I
pretty
actually
good.
got height on it. Usually, it's a low.
Yeah.
Usually it's a low. Is that what
He
he
did
We were
pretty
called,
good. Yep, he really
Old
did.
Tabor Woods.
We were-
Yeah,
Tabor
Tabor
Woods.
Woods.
All right. Listen, we'll
All
let
right.
you guys go. Locke's got to go because his daughter's in town. At Lock and Cross on Twitter, 957 Cruise FM.
That was
in
fun,
Edmonton.
boys.
I hope to see a bunch of content on Ryan Lindley's
Thank
Twitter
Casey
feed tonight.
for me for
I will.
coming out.
At Ryan, yeah, his computer cacked out. Casey Stern will be back next week. Really appreciate
See
Casey
you
for
tomorrow,
coming on the
Locke.
show. Thanks to Army Chris. Really appreciate you coming on the show. Make sure you get the Fire for Effect podcast, download, subscribe, and of course, the Lynn's Report. Ryan Lindley, who's out in Edmonton, dude, you're gonna fucking die.
Send help. Send
You're gonna
help.
die. Now it's just
I
you
know.
and me. Like you
I know.
you are coming out of blood clots, going to Alberta to drink for like 4 days. You might get on that plane on the way home and cry. You know,
I'm,
one of those hangovers at the end of a trip where you're so hungover, you're like, I don't want to live anymore. I just want to die. Gonna get on this plane. Hopefully it crashes. That's how you're gonna feel. You're gonna be in. I hope this plane crashes hungover by the time you're getting ready to come home from a trip out west with those cats. Guaranteed.
I had a plan. I had a plan of like Sunday was going to be a reset day because I fly out Monday afternoon,
Mhm.
and I had a plan to. I didn't want to go to this Motley Crue show. I was hoping that those tickets didn't come through. So the person that got us the tickets is probably watching. So thanks. I was going to use that as my reset day and then just go home, you know, slightly sluggish. But now I know this is just gonna. I probably won't even make the plane. No.
Just get
We'll
it.
see.
Just get after it. Just do whatever they tell you to do. Just when you're in Rome.
You'll get the video. There's going to be content for days. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'll keep everybody updated on Twitter and social media.
Aight, buddy. Great to see
You
you.
have a good one. You have a good
too.
weekend. I'm
Yeah,
sorry
you
you're
too.
not here. You almost made it too. It was so
Yeah.
close. I thought you were
Yeah.
coming.
No.
Yeah.
I know
No.
better than you do. And
I
like you have the consistency and the constitution to go
Yeah.
through an entire weekend in Alberta with people who drink from sunup to
Yeah.
sundown. I don't have that same constitution. I mean, I'm good for like 2 hours. It's my thing, right? Like I can go to a party, and let me put it to you this way: what happens is I go to a party, and after 2 hours, it doesn't matter if I was drunk or sober. I always got tired of every single person there, right? But
Yeah.
you're among good company, good quality people. You've got a great place to stay. You don't have anywhere to go. So drink your face off, have a good time. Just make sure that one of those guys doesn't code right in front of you.
That's kind of it. Like I'm gonna have to perform some sort of first aid. But you know what I will say, and I'll leave this as a teaser because I'm going to write a post about it obviously when I get back on my trip. There's a lot of misconceptions I may have had about the West, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. And I'll explain just things about people and my preconceived notions. Did you hear him? Weekend's not over.
No, you'll meet those people yet.
So we'll see what happens, and I've had, it's been eye opening, that's for sure. We make the jokes and stuff about what we've seen so far, but I'm actually having there's some real genuine fucking great people here that aren't freedom truck fucking fuck Trudeau people. They're just good old people that just like fucking smoking darts and playing VLTs. You know what I mean, it's just like it's odd. I'll explain it. It's a neat thing though.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon, Ryan.
See you, man.
Ryan Lindley from the Linz Report. He's out in Alberta with the rest of the group. I think most of us are in Alberta, actually. It's a great province. Good people. Bum rap by the crazies. The crazies. We get a bum rap out here, too. Mostly because we have the crazies in government. It's part of the deal. Political crazies. That's it for us. Have a great day, everybody. Don't forget, you can sign up for a newsletter at deanblundell.com. You can also subscribe to everything we do. If it's the audio version of the podcast you're looking for and you're listening, share it with your friends, right? Give us a nice review if you can, nice rating. Apparently that's important. And we'd really appreciate that. So you go to Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Google, etc., and you leave a review, download, subscribe to the podcast. We'd appreciate that. You can also watch what we do on YouTube as well. Dean Blundell TV on YouTube, Dean Blundell Show on YouTube, rather, Dean Blundell TV on Twitch. Thanks to my friend Casey Stern, formerly of Major League Baseball, and now he is on his own BLEAV podcast network. Make sure you subscribe to his podcast. If you're a baseball guy, basketball guy, he had Rudy Gay on last week, which was absolutely fucking incredible, talking about the KD saga. You are not going to find a better guy that communicates specifically when it comes to what's in his wheelhouse. He's the best sportscaster, one of the best interviews, and I highly recommend you go to the BLEAV network and subscribe to Casey Stern's Unfiltered with Casey Stern, Major League Baseball broadcaster Casey Stern, sharing his unfiltered thoughts on the world of sports. Doesn't just stick to baseball, which is good. Doesn't just stick to sports, which is good as well. And he's brilliant. He's one of the smartest cats I've ever had the pleasure of working with, and I look forward to talking to him again. We're going to catch up next week because we had some audio issues. No big deal. That's the world of digital media and digital audio and video. Sometimes it fucks up. And sometimes you got to do a rounder. Sometimes you got to do it again and again and again and again to get it right, and we will. So we'll have Casey on next week. But thanks to our friends at Easy Auto Financial as well for making this possible. Go to Easy Auto Financial today for financing for a vehicle, free financing for a vehicle. A lot of people have bad credit. And financing a car is a pain in the ass, too. They take the pain in the ass away. They take all the guessing away. They don't care about your credit rating. EasyAutoFinancial.ca. Try them today. No obligation either. They're really good people, and they'll help you get a brand new car and do all the shitty work on top of it. Nice deal. And your financing's free. Even better deal. If it's free, it's for me. Also, Ed's Fine Imports. It is Gitch. We wear it, so can you. EdsFineImports.com. GITCH 3 is your promo code. The best underwear you'll ever wear. Men's boxer briefs, pouch in the front, super breathable, super comfortable. Feels like you're not even wearing anything, nothing. And I don't know if it's fair for me to call them a push-up bra for your junk, but they work that way. You're welcome. From Ed at Ed's Fine Imports. He makes these underwear. Gitch. GITCH 3. That's your promo code. He'll send you a free pair when you order 3 or more. Massive online store, too. Clothing for men and boys at edsfineimports.com. And last but not least, kivlaw.ca. You in trouble? You got a problem with the law? Put something off? Need a legal defense attorney? You need a group of them? You need the smartest people on the planet? Kivlaw.ca today. Go to kivlaw.ca if you're looking for some help, legal help. He knows, Robert at kivlaw.ca. That's his email address, Robert at kivlaw.ca. He knows that when you're reaching for help and you're in trouble, you need someone that doesn't just tell you what you want to hear, but tells you how to get out of trouble and holds your hand through the process and protects you through the process as well. It doesn't matter if you did it, didn't do it, been accused of doing something you didn't do. Kivlaw.ca. If you're looking for outstanding legal representation in Southern Ontario, Robert at kivlaw.ca. Have a great day, everybody. And a great long weekend. We'll see you on Tuesday of next week. Excited for next week, too. We got a big slate of shows that we're going to bring you. I have no idea. I can't even remember. Even if you said, hey, who do you got? I know we're booked. I couldn't tell you who they are right now. It's Friday, long weekend. So have a great day. Be good to yourselves. See you tomorrow. Tuesday. Bye.